Hi everybody. Today's declaration is I am a storm sleeper. I've started colouring in, but I'm going to carry on colouring in while I'm talking to you. And I'm really enjoying this one because today it is really windy outside and even some of the branches of the trees outside our house have come down. So it feels like the right sort of a day to be colouring in I am a storm sleeper. I wonder whether you like storms. Do you get afraid in storms? Or do you quite like it when you can hear the rain beating on your window outside and you feel all safe inside? It's definitely nice to feel safe inside, isn't it, when you're in a storm? But what do you think this guy feels? You would think right in the middle... Look, my pencil's broken. That's annoying, isn't it? You would think that in the middle of all of these waves, he would feel very scared. But amazingly, he looks pretty chilled, doesn't he? He's lying there. He's got his hands behind his head. He looks chilled as a cucumber. And this declaration is all about being chilled as a cucumber in the middle of the storm. And you think, how can I be chilled as a cucumber when the waves are raging all around me? I think that would be a time for panicking. But actually, Jesus tells us that we can have peace even when everything around us seems totally crazy. And you might remember the story when Jesus was in a boat with the disciples and they'd been out fishing and all of his disciples had fallen asleep, and then a storm picks up and they wake up and they're terrified. And they say, Jesus, do something. What are you doing there sleeping? And Jesus speaks to the storm and commands it to be still. And the waves die down and the wind dies down. And they say, oh my goodness, who is this man in the boat with us who can even make the storms go away? And the cool thing is, Jesus actually given us that same authority to even command the storms to go. So you can practice it. Next time you're in a big fat storm, you can say, storm, stop, in Jesus' name, and see what happens. But also, he gives us peace in the middle of the storm. So if the storm is carrying on raging, we can be like Jesus, fast asleep in the boat, not afraid. Because God promises always to be with us, and he is what can make us feel safe. Even when it looks like everything's going wrong, when we're placing our trust in Jesus, we don't need to feel afraid, and we don't need to be like the disciples who were freaking out. Isn't that amazing? Wouldn't you like to be able to live with that total peace, whatever is going on around you? Now, here on this bit, I'm going to colour it in really colourfully around the declaration, I'm a storm sleeper. Whoop. And it's going to look a bit like a rainbow. And that is really fun because, do you know what the rainbow means? The rainbow is a sign of God's promise to us. You might know the story of Noah and the flood. The whole earth was flooded and Noah built an ark and he was able to save him and his family and 2 of each of the animals. And then when the flood subsided, there was a big rainbow appeared in the sky. And God said to Noah, this is a sign of my promise to you that I will never again cover the whole earth with water and destroy everything. And he said, anytime that you see the rainbow in the sky, you can remember my promise to you. So that is why I'm colouring this like a rainbow, because a rainbow is a sign of God's promises. And so you can remember God's promise to you every time you see a rainbow. And even during all this coronavirus business, everyone is colouring rainbows. And lots of people are putting them in their windows and things. And that is quite fun because I encourage you, every time you see rainbows in people's windows and things, you can remember that the rainbow is a sign of God's promise to you. That not only will he not cover the earth with water again, but also you can remember all of other God's promises. Like the fact that he promises to never leave you or forsake you or abandon you. God promises to be with you all of the time. And God promises to hear your prayers. You can speak to him and you can know that he is listening. God has always got time for you. He's never too busy for you. And one of the most amazing promises that we have is that we can be forgiven. Jesus died on the cross for us, and that we can put our trust in him and receive his forgiveness and know that we are forgiven for all of the stuff that we have done wrong, only through Jesus. Now, shall I colour in the raindrops? I don't know what colour. Shall I do fluorescent orange? This would be very interesting, Rain. Maybe we could do multicoloured raindrops. That would be pretty fun, wouldn't it? Like Skittles. And these raindrops also look like seeds, which is cool because I'm So Many Things is all about seeds. Seeds of God's truth that we can plant in our hearts. Because our hearts are like fertile soil and they grow whatever is planted in them. So if we plant seeds of truth, we'll grow good trees and good fruit. And if we plant bad seeds, then there's bad fruit. And once we plant the seeds, we also need to remember to water them because that's how stuff grows. So these raindrops are like seeds and water at the same time, which is pretty awesome. I'm growing some sunflowers outside at the moment and I have to remember to water them every day, which is really good because it's helping me remember that I need to water the seeds of God's truth in my heart every day as well. So I encourage you to plant this seed of truth in your heart today and remember to keep watering it. You are a storm sleeper. Every time there's a storm or it's windy or it's rainy, you can remember that you are a storm sleeper, that God has got you safe and sound and you can be peaceful in him, whatever is going on around you. And not only if it's just like wind and waves and rain around you, but also if life feels like a storm, if you don't know what's happening, even if maybe things feel stormy with your friends, if things all feel topsy-turvy at school, if things all feel topsy-turvy at home. So when life feels like this, you can still be peaceful right in the middle of the storm, peaceful in Jesus, because he's got you and he will never leave you.